Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the workshop of the Board of County Commissioners. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first off, we have our department reports today, and we have several, and we're going to start with the assessor. Ms. Buggan, you are here to bring us good news, right? Great tidings of joy? No. And you got to pull it as close as you can get it. Like, really close.
So what I have for you today is 23 versus 24 assessed values. I just got finished Thursday getting in my assessed values after all the tax rate changes and all of the deductions, again, for residential and commercial rates. So what we're looking at, I'll just go down the line and give you the minuses or pluses. Vacant land went down 51,190. That's probably more than likely due to the fact our residential's increased. Obviously, we didn't lose any vacant land in the county. It's still here. It just changed classifications. So it went into residential or commercial or something else. It just got reclassified. Our residential properties are up, gosh, I should have brought my glasses.
3 million?
Yes, 3,052,970. Commercial is up 154,786,950. Industrial went down 1,145,960. Agricultural went down 27,960. Earth and stone increased 84,330. Oil and gas, it's the doozy, 80,534,160. State assessed 2,648,300 in the plus. And then multifamily went down 37,890. So oil and gas obviously being our biggest decrease out of the whole entire budget. So that leaves us with mill levy of 10.838, looking at a revenue of 7,014,561 for 24, a difference of $799,974 from last year in the red.
And 25 is a reval year again, right?
25 is a reval year, but we still are unsure of what 25 is going to look like as far as assessed values. If we can increase, if we can, I mean, we just don't know what 25 is going to look like yet.
Well, it's
till
not going to be
November.
an increase. I can tell you that from the last meeting we were on last Friday. It'll be another pretty large decrease. If they do what they're talking about, and or if 50 or Proposition 108 pass.
Yeah, for sure.
Then it's going to be significant,
Yeah, because then we'll
significantly
be stuck
more.
basically to the 5% increase.
Wow.
So the oil and gas,
Which we knew.
yeah, the oil and gas, if you look at the revenues of it, was $872,000. And then we were able to offset some of that with our increases that we had in the residential and the commercial, you know, or it could have been way worse.
Why did the industrial fall so bad?
I think
What did
that
we
was
lose?
mostly due to businesses closing down or classification changes too, that we put them from industrial into commercial. So there's no difference in their assessment rate. It's just a reclassification. But a lot of businesses did go out too. This last year, we had quite a significant decrease in our personal property taxes also. With the state being its $52,000 threshold, that took a lot of businesses out.
As far as looking ahead at 25, do you see anything real significant from this? Unless, obviously, what happens, but probably not a lot.
I can't predict what oil and gas is going to do. I have no idea.
They're not saying either.
They're not saying, they don't say.
All right.
And we're done doing, we're done with all the audits. Our last one was December that we were to collect on for those. So we're done with Kinder Morgan audits. All that's over with.
Questions?
No.
It obviously wouldn't have been this bad if we could have not had to put the deductions back on, but since we had to. But they might, depending on what happens with the election, they might go back on. But then we're looking at other things to happen. So I don't know. I don't even know what to expect.
Well, I don't think
come
any of us.
December.
Any of us. Well, if they do that special session, it could happen sooner than that. It could happen by September,
That's,
which is
Well, they would have
another-
to have a decision made before the ballots go out as to what they're going to decide.
yeah.
Yeah, it has to go out fairly quickly, but I think the preliminary estimates, when we was just on the phone, was what, another 400,000
Yeah.
decrease?
Right. And that was if they lower the RAR to the 6.2,
Yes.
6.3, whatever it was.
6.2. And then, so what I based those numbers off of was 6.2 and everything else at 25%. Because that's kind of what we were.
For the commercial, industrial.
Yes, for everything else
Yeah.
being 25%.
Yeah, because oil and gas, just figuring, is off 21%.
Jeez Louise.
But then now I don't know in what they're talking about doing with the special session, does that put the $55,000 and the $30,000 back on commercial and residential?
Well,
We held that close to their chest.
yeah, we're not going to know.
Okay.
We're
Because
not-
that, I
We're
mean,
not going to know.
it's not going to
And
help
it's not really even public
a
yet.
ton, but it's going to help some.
It's just a matter of that, or they're using it as leverage to keep 50 and 108 off the ballot,
Mhm.
but, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at right now today
Yes.
with the 6.7 and the $55,000 reduction
55 and 30.
on the
Mhm.
RAR.
Mhm. Yep.
Wow.
So it set all of our assessment rates back to 23 and all the deductions back to 23. Our biggest thing is our oil and gas is down.
All right, well,
And obviously, we don't have them banging down our doors to put new wells in or anything either, so I don't know.
no, nobody's been in here since 2019
Mm-mm.
at all.
Nope.
So is that strictly because of the production rate? Is that much lower? The value went down that much, or what?
So it's not so much that the production actually goes down, it's the per MCF that they have to sell it for to get rid of it goes down. So the production pretty much stays pretty steady, it's just what they have to sell it for that really affects our valuation. And then we don't have, we have Kinder Morgan obviously, but our actual oil wells are pretty much non-existent anymore in Montezuma County. We have very few left,
Right.
just a handful that actually bring in production.
All right, do you have any good news?
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
I mean,
It's not raining today.
That's not good news either, I guess.
It's not raining.
geez, that's a lot of lost revenue right there.
It's a huge loss.
That's a huge loss in revenue.
Mhm.
All right. Question, gentlemen?
No.
Like I said, don't shoot the messenger.
We're not shooting the messenger. Thank you for the information. It
If you
just
have any
makes it
questions or
that
need
much
anything
harder
figured
to
out, let me know.
plan.
So we'll just keep in touch about anything going on and we'll try and figure it out.
Yeah, we'll know.
As fast as we
We'll
can.
know probably in the next couple of weeks whether that special session is going to happen or not.
Okay.
Because
Sounds
I don't think,
Well, I think they have to do it for the 1st of September,
I
don't
think
they?
they do, yeah.
Would make sense that they would.
No, they can't do it, so
Yeah.
it's gonna decide this.
It's a mess.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, treasurer, I hope you have something of,
I don't like
Tidings
that
and
laugh.
joy.
That's not very good.
That report I sent over to you, did you get that signed or not? If not, I have it right here, so.
Oh, that's on for tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, can we do it today or no?
No, we have to do the decisions on Tuesday.
That's right, okay. That's good, so if you guys will sign the 6-month report, if you have any questions on it, let me know, but it's pretty basic. So, I don't really have, let's see, great news that you don't know. Interest rates are staying high, so that's good for our investment thing. About half of our investments are invested above 5%, the rest between 4 and 5 right now. Of course, 2025 looks like, we don't know what it looks like yet. It's going to go down or up, I can't tell yet. So, probably depends a lot on the election, of course. So we don't really know right now. We've collected $969,774 in interest payments. And our taxes receivable are about the same as they are every year. We have about let's see, what have we collected? We have about 1 million outstanding, a little over, that we'll collect at tax sale. So that's.
so November, middle of
Yes.
November?
Mhm. But that's about where we usually are. We're a little bit above. I mean, we haven't collected quite as much as we usually do right now, but it's not a great deal of difference, so that doesn't tell me too much what people are gonna do. Foreclosures are starting to pick up, which that makes sense, because it takes a little time for them to start.
Are they more than they were last year, or do you have a feel for
Yeah,
that?
they definitely are. The good news on that end is that they did statewide increase the fees for that. So foreclosures, our fee will go up quite a bit, probably triple than what it was. So I don't think that's a huge bunch of income, but it is some income. And the same with the treasurer's deed. They've increased those fees because they hadn't been increased for 50 years or maybe longer. I don't know. Anyway, that's still kind of in a flux, the treasurer's deed process. Used to be, we had the investors. If they invested, they could come in after they'd done it for 3 years and apply for a treasurer's deed. Now they have to go through another auction process, which is real dumb, but
After the 3 years?
Yes. So when it's going to go to sale, they have to be there on sale day, and the other people, not just the owner, can bid on it. So it's all based on a Supreme Court decision, and that's what Colorado came up with. Well, that's what the Supreme Court came up with. I'm sure Ian knows more about it than I do even. It's kind of a messed up process. The good thing is that everyone in the state is kind of getting on the same page, whereas before I feel like every county was kind of handling it all a little different. Now we'll be more cohesive that way, so that's the good part of it. But the bad part of it is on the investor end. They'll get all their money back because that's where the opening bid will come in, is whatever they have invested plus the interest. But people have the right to bid against them, so that makes it not just the owner.
So then it's an open bid? It's not
Yes,
just who has
it's-
paid the
Nope,
last 3 years of
It's
taxes?
an open bid.
No, it's an open bid.
Isn't it messed up?
Oh, I'm like,
I don't
what-
get
what's-
it. Well, the only benefit to the investor now is just the interest rate is good. They can usually get a much higher return than they can anywhere else. But other than that, the prospect of, and it'll depend on how people handle that, because you'll still have to come in with cash or cashier's check. It's not you'll have to be ready that day to purchase it. So it's not going to be like everyone will be there, but it'll be a whole and we'll be having live auctions over there once a week, or not once a week. They'll be scheduled once a week, and I don't know how many we'll have. So Yeah, that's all changed, all that process.
So is the interest rate to the, I guess I'm trying to understand what's beneficial now to the person that buys.
That actually
The-
comes in and
the
pays the taxes,
tax,
what we call
yeah.
the investor. The interest rate
investor.
usually is 10 to
Still
12%.
10 to 12?
9 to 12, yeah, just depends. So they can get a higher return, but
But they can get outbid at the end of the 3 years now instead of having the property
they can still
secured at
bid
that point in
against
time.
that person, but they may have to
Wow.
actually put more money in. So,
Okay.
yeah, they're real thrilled. None of the investors like it, and I don't blame them. It didn't work out that way. But it's all statute. There's nothing, we can't make a decision on it. It's all based on what the Supreme Court did and then the state. So, anybody have any other questions?
I'm curious to see how that works out and see how many investors you actually lose.
I know we'll lose some. The only other thing that's strange is that we do now online auction when we're doing the tax lien sale, so that is investors from all over. But this sale at the end is gonna be an in-person auction, so that's gonna be a little different too, because I don't know what the people that are gonna do, probably have to have a phone-in method or some way for them to actually bid, but other people can't, so it'll be basically a local auction so far. Yeah, we don't know what we're gonna do with that, but we'll see.
All right, sounds good. Any questions?
No.
Okay,
All
thank you,
right.
guys.
Thank you. I do see Miss Clarissa, come on down,
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
reporting for our district attorney today.
Yes, he is in court in Dove Creek, so I am filling in. I sent Travis, the only thing I have is just kind of,
Pull that mic as
Closer.
close as you can get it. Yeah.
this is the project that we've been working on lately, the statistical data dashboard. And so I wanted to show everyone this. We still have about 600 cases to get in here just from previous years. I asked the state to do a mass closing for us, which they did, but they did not tell me that it wouldn't pull the information. So my staff is still having to go into all those individual cases and enter the sentencing information. So we've gone from about 900 missing information on cases to 600, just in a matter of a couple months. So I feel good about that at least, but we are still catching up on some of the information. But I wanted you all to know that this existed. There's a lot of different aspects of the statistics that are pulled. The one that I sent Travis is specifically case resolution. And so if you guys want to go through that, but there's a lot of other things like how many are filed, and we have dispositions based on race to make sure there's no disparities. It'll just be a really great tracking tool for us in the future. And then also information, it's public, so anybody from the community can look at it. You guys can look at it, that kind of stuff. So I'm still learning how to tweak the information on the website. They sent me all of the coding and whatnot, and so I haven't gotten with IT on how exactly that works, but we're getting there. So if there's something that anybody would like to see on there specifically, I'm happy to get input, but the state kind of gave us a standard form that we're using. So that was all I had, unless...
You scroll down just a little bit, Travis. Thank you.
And if you want to go back, Travis, I don't know, whenever they're done looking, but if you just erase the case resolution portion, it'll take to the actual homepage. I just thought the case resolution was specifically interesting.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, for better or for worse, I guess, but. Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't realize all of those tabs were up there. Yeah, so that's the home page, and then across the top, there's just some different overviews, metrics, those types of things. We worked with the CU for many months getting this implemented. They've been amazing as far as support and training and all that kind of stuff. I think they're just as excited as other jurisdictions are to have this going, so it's been really good collaboration. Yeah, so those are all the different metrics. Like I said, I believe those are editable. If there is anything specific folks think that should be on there that's maybe more important to the public information, we kind of went off the standard and what other DA's offices felt were priorities for that. But and then I don't know that we specifically have anything under data stories. They were looking for like what we would be tracking for these, and we just haven't figured out what exactly we're looking for yet. We had been doing some tracking on bond disparities between races, but that has seemed to resolved itself, and that's more of a court statistic, not necessarily like our office statistic. Although, you know, we were obviously monitoring it for what we request versus what is issued by the court. Again, I think we haven't seen anything substantial in that, so it's not something we're necessarily keeping an eye on anymore. And so we're just trying to figure out what areas we believe we need to make sure we're watching. The length of cases has gone down quite a bit, and I think that's just because we have consistent employment now. Cases, when we had turnover, were taking just a little bit longer to get through and close. So I noticed that length of time shortened quite a bit, and just some of those other little things.
All right.
That was it. I just thought this was kind of neat. We're all kind of nerdy numbers over there, so we were all very excited to get this up and be able to see some of our numbers. The staff in particular, they love seeing what they put their work into, so it's been interesting for them. But
It looks like there's a lot of pleaded guilty cases. By looking at that graph, they just plead guilty and then you don't have to do anything with them at all?
well, right.
What is,
So they get sentenced by the court, and so it's usually once somebody's sentenced, other than our diversion program, which I think our diversion program technically shows as dismissals. But once somebody is convicted, then it's not generally our responsibility for any oversight after that. Either probation, they just pay court costs and fees, they're sentenced to jail or Department of Corrections. The only time we generally have any oversight are for diversion cases or deferred judgment cases. We have some oversight on those. We kind of almost act like a probation office. In those, we make sure whatever requirements were made in the plea agreement, we make sure that they're completed, and then we'll file a motion to dismiss that case as successfully completing their terms. But yeah, that's it.
okay.
I don't say that's it because it takes a lot to get there, but yeah, that's the goal, is to get it sentenced, and then it's, you know, in the charged person's hands to comply. So we still deal with people that get revoked from their probation or revoked from their deferreds or revoked from diversion. So those will come back onto our docket when that happens, and we kind of take over again. We may have to renegotiate terms. We may have to resentence them. In very, very, very few rare cases, we may have to retry them. So there's a few other things that can happen once sentenced, but it's not as frequent.
Okay. Questions, gentlemen? Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
We'll look it over.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
there's tons of little tabs and, like I said, different metrics. So if you have any questions about that next time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Clarissa. Mr. Dobry.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I'm up here a lot, but I have some kind of overall updates. So all of our grants are currently being tracked in Amplifund, which is our grant management software. All the new stuff and the existing grants that we've been awarded We're currently working on the connection between Amplifund and Cassell, which is our accounting software, and we'll be rolling out permissions and things to departments in the coming weeks. And once that's fully rolled out to the departments, the look of the BOCC grant approval form will change a little bit, because instead of having paper signatures, it'll become sort of a process in that online system with approvals, and then I will be bringing that to you. But it won't have signatures, but it'll be approved through that process. But it'll still have all of the same information. We've built that report already in the system. It looks different, but it is the same. I have some recommended edits to the grant policy to update it to match our grant process as it changes into Amplifund, and then also to clarify some department responsibilities and to bring it into the overall financial policy. And then Travis and I will bring those updates as part of a financial policy update, some financial policy update recommendations at a future workshop.
Can you send those over to me too, Robert?
It's the same ones that I sent you a few months ago.
Okay.
We just hadn't presented them yet.
Okay, thanks.
I'm finalizing the gaming impact grant that's due at the end of the week that you approved last week, and then also the grant writer coordinator position is posted, and we're currently accepting applications as I move into the finance and budget role. And that's all I've got.
All right, that's all you got.
All right.
All right. We're going to go by MoCo Transportation, Senior Services, Veterans Services. I don't see anybody in here. I don't see anybody from Extension. I guess the sheriff, you will be next. You are in the room. How much rain have we had over the last week?
So what?
How much rain have we had over the last
Not
week?
that much. Pretty scattered. But hey, that's the first thing that people are going to say, right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
trust
that,
me.
okay?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking to burn ban. We had, what, inches of rain here in the last
Hey, we
5
got
days?
through the 4th of July without doing anything, and it was just fine. But the fire chiefs, we met last month, discussed it. They wanted to wait a few weeks, and they have. Problem is that the vegetation moisture is really dropping. Because the county fire band is, it's all or nothing. It's all districts, all around. Mancus is not too bad except for the west and a little bit north. But all the other districts are drying out. And this moisture goes away fast, especially when the wind picks up, it's gone. The resources that would assist with wildfires have been called to many different fires in the state, which is also a cause for concern from the fire district standpoints. And therefore, we're asking that it's not an absolute emergency right now, but sometime this week, I would request if we could get it going, at least until we start to see some weather changes later in the fall, early winter. We can control from this the controlled burns that are out of control. We can't do anything with the lightning strikes, which caused, but it's the other fires that just pick up and go, especially on the west side of the county.
Question?
No.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, no questions. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Ian.
Now I see, well, Dustin, you were here. We'll let you come up front.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I received 3 quotes to replace a HVAC unit at Annex 3. That'd be the 4th one for the year. My suggestion is Win Air. They have the best price and it's in stock, so should be pretty.
it kind of seems like they've been pretty consistently the best price overall, right? And that's out of Grand Junction?
Yeah,
And that's just to supply the unit with, correct, the way I read that, is that?
yeah, that's supplying the unit. It has hail guards. It doesn't need a curb adapter. It's a direct replacement, and an economizer on it. And then we'll just schedule a boom truck to do both of those on Annex 3 the same day. And then the other two were for Annex 1.
So what do you anticipate the total cost will be once we get it installed?
He's $350 an hour, so it'd be another $350 for the two units going on there, and then possibly another $350 for Annex 1, unless we can get it all done in that hour, pulled off and sat back on. But it'd be another $700 most likely.
So $1,000,
Yeah.
just anticipate. I don't know if they can sit up and move that quickly.
We've done 3 at the sheriff's office, and they were in different spots, and we made it in about an hour. So he's pretty quick.
Okay.
So
All right, so your recommendation is Win Air?
yes. And then that leaves us with 9 RTUs that are between 21 and 24 years old, and then 9 split systems that are over at the sheriff's department on like the jail side. So that's like a furnace inside and a outdoor unit.
You said 9?
Yeah, so 18 total, but 9 rooftop units, and then the others are split systems.
So anticipation, how many for next year then? All 9?
If
They're already at 21 years old?
Well, we haven't been having a ton of trouble, knock on wood, but so I think we should try and keep on doing what we've been doing, 3 to 4, depending on pricing.
How old were the ones that broke down over?
Around that, the one was 21 or 2, so they're all within that time frame that we've been replacing.
Yeah, they're,
We're gonna get hit with a bunch.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's hope we can do half
Well,
of
hopefully
them
we
next
can-
year and half the next year, half the
Kind of
following
nurse
year.
them along if need be, so.
I don't know, that's something we probably ought to consider, guys, if they're already reaching that age. We should probably look at
Budget it,
budgeting
Get it done.
Okay.
for all 9 of them next year.
Okay.
Because
Well, like
when they
the
go
issue-
out, then we're at the mercy of,
Yeah.
are they available, can we get them?
All right. Well, I can send them out for pricing for, I think everything's gonna go up again next year, but we can get our ballpark.
Okay. Because did we anticipate any this year, in your budget at all this year? I don't,
It's usually in the capital budget. We didn't talk about it in my budget meeting, but I should have brought it up.
yeah, we should probably have that conversation, because 9 units, if they're gonna average $17,000 apiece, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
Well, that one's a 10-ton. It's pretty big. A lot of the other ones aren't quite that big.
5-ton.
Yeah. So,
Hey, you might work something up, Dustin, and send it to Travis, that way we can stick that in the capital.
okay.
Because if what our assessor just told us, we're gonna lose that kind of revenue, we better use it up, get them put on before we don't have any revenue at all to work with.
Okay.
Are any of those on the road and bridges building?
No.
You said 3 of them were at the sheriff's office, right?
I believe 4 of them were at the sheriff's office, and then there was the 9 split systems are all at the sheriff's office, but it's like the jail side and
Yeah.
the gym in the basement there.
Are those the mini splits? Is that, or they're just
No.
a split system?
It's just considered a split system. It's got the outdoor condensing unit and the indoor evaporator in the furnace. And I mean, the furnaces have been running pretty good. It's the air conditioning side usually that you have the issues with.
Yeah.
And parts have been readily available for the furnace side, and they're all the same. So when I have spare parts for most of the things that go out on them, so, in the winter months.
Okay. Figure something out and get it to us as soon as possible
Okay.
so that we can put something in there for capital.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dustin. Now, Miss Emily, Extension. Are we gonna have a VSO come over today, or?
I texted him, he was planning on being here.
Hello.
Hi.
Good
Sorry.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Sorry, I guess I miscalculated my arrival time. So,
That's okay.
yeah, traffic between here and the extension office is pretty serious. But I guess report of we all survived fair, so we're on the other side. Feel like that went pretty well this year. So Tierney is, getting things in a groove and finding improvements. We did some things, fair board decisions, working with our local veterinarians, making sure we had all the poultry were safe, so were all the other animals. So I think we got through that okay. The livestock numbers, so there was 117 animals who went through the sale. Tierney said that was the highest number of animals since about 2011, which is pretty cool. And the sale total, it was around about 325,000-ish. And also on the indoor projects, she had really high numbers compared to last year. It was like 130 kiddos with projects on the indoor projects, and she has 45 of those going to State Fair. So Tierney is right now trying to pack all of that into our vehicle. So that's been a little bit of a Tetris game, which is a good problem to have, but some kids had, I think there was a gun safe and another archery project that were pretty big, but really cool that all those kids have stuff going to State Fair.
When is State Fair?
When
End of this month?
Yeah, I don't know when all of the things are, but Tierney has to take all of the projects this week, so she's driving over starting tomorrow. So Nowlin from the Dolores County Extension Office, he's down, so they'll both go over there, and they take all of the projects from the two counties and kind of check them in, so there's certain, make sure they're, put in the right place, all that kind of stuff. So all the agents or support staff from all the different extension offices have to take all their stuff there, which then La Plata County, their fair is just last week, so then they have to turn right around and go to State Fair. So. Yeah, and so we had some different kiddos. Tierney's trying to do outreach, so she worked with some kids down at the KCA, the school down in Toyoak, doing some programming. So her and Greg Felson were able to have kids. They did a little leatherwork project, so they were able to enter things into fair and get ribbons. So trying to create, interest in 4-H in different areas. And we also there's this iStar camp that Greg kind of heads up down in Toyoak, so those kiddos came. I gave them all little stickers for, CSU Rams head. So just trying to check out what fair is all about. And then turn right around, and the new 4-H year will start in October. So I'm sure Tierney is excited to turn around and get working on that. But so that's 4-H fair. I don't know if you guys have any questions related to that.
Overall numbers, I know you said some of the things were up as far as the entries, but overall numbers, were they up, down?
Like in attendance, or I think from the kids' side,
From the kids' side first.
Yeah, I think numbers from the beef numbers were down, but then there were a ton of goats and, a lot of pigs. They had more animals this year, which they had another good problem where they didn't have enough pins, so they had to borrow pins from La Plata County to fit all of the animals out there. So I would say generally numbers were up. And, we have keep going up and up. We can only go up so much. But there's plans for how to buy more pins. The Lore Foundation then supported porta-coolers. I don't know if anybody went out. Those were game changers, that they kept the barns cooler, kept people and animals just way more comfortable. So that was really phenomenal.
The sale was really comfortable.
Yeah. So, and they bought those with those funds from the Laura Foundation. So they'll continue to be able to use those things. It wasn't as warm as last year was just like 95 degrees, versus this was like close to 90. I mean, it's still toasty. So I think for everyone, those porta coolers will be really nice. So, yeah. So yeah, that's that. We have all of our other programming humming along with the horticulture program. We do a weekly Master Gardener help desk, so we have Master Gardeners volunteering, answering yard and garden questions. One of our Master Gardeners, Connie Clementson, so she has just been looking at a lot of different projects, and we had to do a lot of work on this, but she's heading up planting an educational garden with the Cortez Library. So we had to do some finagling on making sure all of our insurance was good enough for both sides, but we got there. So she's heading up that, getting donations from different Master Gardeners, and we'll have a little educational little cards about, water-wise gardening, that kind of stuff. And a lot of our Master Gardeners, they help with different garden projects, like at the Canyon of the Ancients Visitor Center, Mesa Verde Visitor Center. We do a Master Gardener booth, help desk, those sorts of things. And then we're advertising now for a Master Gardener program that will start up at the beginning of November. And that's now online, which is a little bit different, pros and cons to that. It's a little bit more accessible. People don't have to go to a physical location. And then we supplement that with labs where people get together and do that programming. So hopefully we'll continue to grow our numbers. Our numbers are not as big as some other larger counties, but we're continuing to grow that and support that program. Then with ag, since I've talked to you guys, done a lot of different programming, working a lot with the Conservation District on some different programs. We had an introduction to botany class. I had a grad student that I work with she came down. She did a fantastic job. That was a really great workshop. Did a grass identification class. Another program, we did a Colorado Master Irrigator class earlier this year, supported by the Laura Foundation, gave us funding to do that. And we did a kind of in the field irrigation workshop where we used ball probes to, demonstrate how to, show your irrigation depth. Had an irrigation specialist come talk about soil moisture probes, pros and cons. Local farmers came, talked about, okay, so the scientists said that really what we really do. So some practical knowledge there. Then we have some things coming up. The local research center, they have their field day this Friday. That's from 9 to 1. We have a canning workshop this Saturday. There's still room to sign up if internet land is hearing this. Doing hot water bath canning and pressure canning. Nicole Clark from La Plata County is coming over to teach those. And have a range management workshop working with David Stoner with the tribe on hosting a range management in the field. We're going to kind of tour around. Beth Lachelle is going to talk about beef cattle nutrition for range purposes. That's Friday, August 23rd. So I have a lot of Friday programs. Then Charlotte Oliver, she's our regional viticulturalist with CSU. So she's coming to do a workshop on August 30th about growing grapes in southwestern Colorado. She calls us an expanding opportunity area with, a little bit warmer weather, then that expands the opportunities for growing table grapes in our area. So if you want to learn about that, she also has an educational wine tasting that will be a part of that. Then
Educational wine
yes,
tasting? I've never
just slip
heard of
that one in. Well,
educational wine tasting?
Yeah. So we're not charging for it, and it's she has wine that she can, I guess, demonstrate about different tastes and different types of grapes that go into different types of wine. Not mandatory. Maybe she'll also bring some grape juice. So yeah. Gotta keep things fun sometimes.
All right.
Every once in a while. Then just here's the fun stuff. General office stuff. So Ian and I have been emailing a little bit. Our advisory committee bylaws, look super duper. So I didn't know what the process was from, he didn't really have any other suggestions. We were updating our bylaws to kind of make sure that we had a resolution from, I think it was 18, updating bylaws to kind of show how we would go through different members, kind of clarifying that. So do I have the advisory board approve that? Do I have you guys approve that, or?
Yeah, I think probably start with the advisory board
Okay.
and have them approve it and then get it over to Travis. That would be probably the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
So-
We'll probably have a meeting later this month, hopefully, and they can approve that, and we can go from there.
Is your advisory board full? Do you-
Well, that was one of the points of discussion. So the original resolution said like up to 12 people, which is an excessive number of people. So, I
Way
mean.
too many.
I
Way
would
too
hold it
many.
at 7.
I would even say 5.
Yeah, 5 to 7.
I think we have like 6 right now, but then I think we'll have 2 people probably stepping off. So, yeah, I mean, 7 would be plenty.
Yeah, 12 was this. I saw
I
that
don't
number.
know why it
Wow.
said 12.
That's a lot.
That's a good way to get nothing done.
Well, I don't know that they've ever had 12. I don't know why it said 12. We'd have to ask someone who was here then, but yeah. Okay. So I will edit that based on your feedback today, and I do not think that the advisory board will think that we need to have 12. But if they have a reason, I'll bring it back to you guys.
Okay.
Okay. And then Travis, in our spare time, will keep plugging away at our MOU.
I'm still working through that.
Okay.
The only thing that I have, and probably you're not the right one to ask, but did we ever get those ridge vent? It was the sheep barn and the pig
Beef barn?
barn, right?
Was it the beef barn?
No, not the beef barn. It was the,
Regardless, that never come to
it's never been
fruition.
done because that was part of the, remember when we went out there
Yeah.
3 years ago?
I'll tell you, those air conditioners make a world of difference.
I understand that, but if we could exhaust and get
Yeah.
rid of the hot air as it rises,
Push
it
it
would be
out, yeah.
quicker. It'd be even cooler in there.
Yeah.
Because we had approved that 3
I
years
don't know if that
ago.
ever, we'd have to ask Justin.
Mhm.
All right.
I don't think it was ever approved, but I know it was brought up for discussion, and he was looking into that.
You're
Okay.
right, I'm not the right person to ask, but I do know in the porta-coolers has to have airflow, so things have to be open. So someone who knows more about that could say, but you're right, like you have to have that flow, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it moves it quicker because cold air falls and hot air rises,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, yeah.
Pretty simple.
I do believe so, yes.
Actually, those barns were good with those other systems in there this year. Those barns were in good.
They weren't bad.
No, they were not bad at all. It was amazing how much difference there was there.
Mhm.
They were way better, way better.
Okay.
I mean, they were okay.
Yeah, I know from like an animal welfare health standpoint, it was just so hot last year. You just see all the animals, at a really high respiratory rate. So I think everyone was a little happier this year. So.
Okay.
We were saving plastic bottles full of water turned to ice for the chickens.
Mm-hmm. I know you see those rabbits
Yeah, rabbits.
cozying up to them too. So, yeah. Okay. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions for me.
All right. Nope.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Emily. Okay, now we do have some VSO walk in the room. Come on down. I think we can make an introduction today. Is that what we're going to do, Mr. Rick?
Good afternoon.
Howdy.
Good afternoon. You're good.
Let me begin by apologizing. I thought we were supposed to be here at 2:20, though. That's my mistake.
We got a little ahead of schedule.
Okay, I apologize for that. And then I thought it was like a department head meeting, so I was like, there I go thinking again. Commissioners, I am happy to report that our county VSO, Ms. Ashley Garrett, is here. Before I begin with this report, if you want to, chat with her a little bit. If not, I'll go into my report.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. I think the two ladies in the back, I would just like to emphasize that we do have a new VSO officer here in Montezuma County who will be somewhat soon replacing Mr. Torres. She is a local gal, if I may, of the county. Went off, and I'll let you kind of give a description more of that, Ashley, but basically coming back home to serve Montezuma County, here in Montezuma County, and welcome back home.
Thank you.
All right. You want to add anything?
Oh, no, just glad to be back.
Okay. All right. Rick?
All right, Commissioners, what I prepared is a semi-annual report. I compiled our numbers of activity within the office from January of this year until June. And the first part of this is the financial report. You're going to notice in the first 6 months of the year, the permanent salaries were a little bit under, a little bit over 28,000. Fringe benefits, a little over 6,700. Our operating expenses were $1,627. Public outreach was slightly over 3,500 so far. Telephone usage, $120. Dues, training, and travel, $550, for a total of just under $41,000 for financial expenditures. Gentlemen, have any questions about any of this? No. Okay. Office activity. I always like to compare the previous year. So in 2023, for the first half of the year, we saw 829 clients. When we compare that this year, we have 821 so far. That's a shortage of 8 clients, so that's not too far off. That doesn't concern me. Our telephone calls, over 2,200 phone calls in the first half of the year, a little over 1,100 emails, community outreach events, 19 so far, for a total service of 5,112 clients. As far as new visitors to our office, we've had 55 so far, and we've done 5 either nursing home or house calls. Any questions about the activity inside the office? No. All righty. Claims filed year to date, we have so far 105 claims filed, 68 decisions. 47 of those 68 have been favorable, 9 have been denials, 10 have been confirmed and continued, which means they've remained the same. They've neither lost benefits or gained benefits. Now, I will tell you on these numbers right here, because I do not have access to the VA computers, typically when I had access, I would go in on a daily basis and I would go look for awards. Right now I have to rely on sending emails encrypted to try to export that, have someone from the state pull that data out for me. So I'm pretty confident that of the numbers I control here are the 105. Those I can guarantee you because we filed those claims. I would bet money that there's probably more than 68 decisions so far. I just haven't been notified of all of them. So I'm relying on either somebody in the state downloading it or the clients come into the office, they bring me a decision letter, and then we go over it, and then I add it to the totals. So, and you're probably going to see a lag on these figures. Let me just say you won't have an accurate figure until eventually Ashley is going to have access to VA computers, and then she'll be able to import that data as well as how much income is coming in to those veterans and surviving spouses. And that we can talk a little bit about the training, how that's going so far in a minute. Any questions about the claim activity so far this year?
Yes, sir.
All right. So far, of the ones that we were able to count, of these 68, of the 47 favorable decisions, you're looking at 101,816 new dollars coming into these veterans or their survivor for a total of just under 1.2 million a year just for these 68 individuals. In back pay, these individuals have brought in a combined total of $427,080.15. So far this year, first half of the year, we brought in $1.7 million of new income to the veterans and their surviving spouses. As far as our activity, financials, that's pretty much all I have to report. Any questions on that? All right. As far as the training, Ashley got, today's 1 week actually, right? 1 week that she's been here. She's already been accredited through the VA's, it's called TRIP training. And that's so that it's part of the process of getting her to be able to file claims herself with the VA. So now, with that certification, Colorado will tell the VA Office of General Counsel that she's certified, as far as Colorado's concerned, to be able to file claims. So that's one check in the box. The next thing that we're going to be doing, or one of the many things that we're going to be doing, is there's a computer database that helps us file all of our claims. One of the next steps she's going to be doing when the young lady gets back in the state office, she's going to send her the information so that she can do the training. I think it's probably about a one-day training. It's all online, so that she can gain access to the database, to all our clients' data. There's also some HIPAA, personally identifiable information, PII classes. That's fairly quick. The next big training after that is going to be in September. There's a basic, I forgot what they call it, the basic VSO course. So she'll take that in September, and after that course, the state of Colorado will give her access to be able to directly submit claims herself. So right now, once she gains access to our database, she can prepare the claims. I'll be right there with her, and then she'll have it ready for me to look at, and then I'll submit it to the VA. But after she does her training in September, she should be able to start doing those on her own.
So by the end of September, you'll be a free bird. You'll be on your own, right?
Yes, sir.
That's up to Ashley, and I'll serve at her pleasure and yours.
All right, very good. Well, that's not very far away, 2 months.
No, and I mean, I'm
That's good.
prepared. So honestly, the thing is repetition. Every client that comes in, and we've already started this between actual training online, when there's a lull in the training, what we do is the clients come in, and then we get them from the minute they walk in the door, satisfy what they're looking for, and then the next one and the next one. So repetition, and that's how you basically start to establish rapport with the clients, and you start to get a feel, you get in a comfort zone of what it is that you're going to need to do as the client walks in the door. So that just comes with time and repetition, just doing it over and over again. But I'm prepared to stay as long as necessary, or until you guys kick me out of here.
Well, because I think we originally talked about till the end of October, so we're kind of
Whenever you guys
ahead,
want me to
but-
go, I'll go.
Yeah, no, I want to make sure she's comfortable, and we're not just
Yeah, I mean,
throwing her to the wolves.
I don't think it would be cool.
That'd be unfair to
Yeah,
her.
it would be unfair to just say, hey, you took your test, you're good, or I'm out of here.
No, yeah, no, that's,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no need for that. When I first became a VSO, I had a guy, he was like 25 years doing this job, and I just sat there and watched him for like 2 months. I would just sit in the office, and he would do everything. And I just watched and watched, took notes, and then eventually you start to establish your way of doing the same thing, because everybody has a little slightly different way of communicating with another individual. So, but yeah, I think it would be a disservice to her, just because she passed all the training, just to, pawn it off on her and take off. And I don't think I would like to do that.
yeah, no, that, I don't think that was our.
No, nobody's
that was
ever
our
mentioned doing that.
anticipation
so.
either. We were going to make sure that you were real comfortable before we let you go.
And I'll never miss an opportunity, Travis. So if the budget does get approved for next year, and we can get, for continuity of services, that part-time position, I mean, we do have funds available to hire. The sooner that we can at least hire somebody, I don't think we can get another person on board and trained in September. It's all digital. That's not going to happen. But the next course after that, I think I mentioned, is in January. And honestly, if that doesn't happen, and if it can't happen, that's fine. The new part-timer would get up to the point where he or she could prepare claims, just could not submit them. She would submit them, because she will have gone through all the training, and that other person prepares and has it sitting there in the computer awaiting for her review and upload, which that can happen too. So, the only thing that would happen is if she were to take leave, I mean, there's ways around it. That individual would have to submit their stuff to the state service officer and then ask somebody outside of our office to upload the claims. That's another way to do it. So, never miss an opportunity to talk about a new position.
Yeah, you should have been here with our very first report from the assessor.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, not pleasant, but it's reality. All right, anything else? Gentlemen, all right.
Gentlemen, we thank you for the opportunity that we've had to do this. I'm having fun. Miss Ashley, I think she's going to do a great job. She did the training in record time, so she was able to knock that out. And
good deal.
I think we're going to do pretty good.
Well, thank you and welcome home, Ashley.
Thank you.
All right,
Glad to
gentlemen,
have
take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Okay, Travis, last but not least, we have a supplemental budget request.
Yes, gentlemen, this is a one-time request. We've had some retirements that we did not foresee coming, and this supplemental budget would assist us in allowing the two individuals that have been hired to be retrained by those people, by the retirees. And so I'd put out a notification in the newspaper. This was dated, a supplemental budget request pursuant to 29-1, 105, and 109. It was dated July 31st. We've received no responses back. And so again, this would just be a one-time supplemental for this year's budget.
This has to be advertised 2 weeks or a month?
1 week, but within the time frame that we had, it basically one went out 2 weeks.
Okay. So we're well within our
Yep.
notification timeline?
Yep.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions at all?
No, I do not.
Okay. Very good. Then we can vote on that tomorrow too, right? Ian, did I see
Yeah,
that?
it's on there.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yahoo.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Do you guys have anything for the good of the county? All right. Well, then this workshop is adjourned. Thank you all.